Hello, it's me, and I was asked ever since doing the 4x4 wall cube to do the 5x5 wall cube. So you know that the 4x4 wall cube I found to be particularly difficult in terms of figuring it out. As a matter of fact, it was among my top 10 most difficult puzzles. So you can imagine my fear and trepidation at having to roll up my sleeve and attack the 5x5 wall cube. Well, never let it said that I didn't let a request go unanswered. So I think it's time that I roll my sleeves up and try for this guy over here. The good news is I don't have any new algorithms to get through this. It's really just another perspective bender as it was with the wall cube. So the first thing that I'll do, as I did with the tutorial on this guy, is kind of go through some ground rules in terms of how best to solve this. First off, there's a Burr Cube and a wall cube. Right now this is in Burr Cube form. Burr Cube form just means that the center is rotated off so that this area here, this line does not match this line over here. Same thing with this. Wouldn't it be nice if these three lines matched up with, or these two lines matched up with this? But it's all rotated around. So the first step is going to be to do the algorithm to convert this from a Burr Cube to a wall cube. So a 5x5 Burr Cube to a 5x5 wall cube. And to do that is first we put it in ready position. So as you recall, I went like this with a 4x4. And same thing here, I'm going to do the similar kind of a pattern here. And what this does is this allows for this movement and it allows for this movement. Just like this and this. For purposes of making it simple, I'm going to try to put it in a similar perspective. Okay, there it is. So to do that, you simply do the algorithm, and I'll show it with this before showing you with this, because really the algorithms are going to be the same. We're going to move this up here and this up here so that the one that has the 2 is facing towards you while the center that you want rotated is on the top, and just do U, 2M, UI, 2M. Do it again. U, 2M, UI, 2M, U, 2M, UI, 2M. And that did it, so I'm just going to move this back down, and if I were to move this back, you can see I've now converted this from a Burr Cube into a wall cube. So my question was, could I do something similar with this? It works so well here, can I do it with this? Well, you can see that where's my U? Is it here? Is it here? I think we've got these middle layers now here that's going to cause something of an issue. Here, there's no middle layer. Here, there is a middle layer. And over here, this is really the same kind of structure, to be honest with you. But we've got middle layers too. So I'm going to do the same thing, move this up like so. And this will be my U, and let's see if it works. So that was my first test to see if I can apply the same algorithms. So it's going to be U, 2M, UI, 2M. U, 2M, UI, 2M. U, 2M, UI, 2M. And then I just move this back here, and I was so excited to see that, yes, no worries, I can easily convert the 5x5 Burr Cube into a 5x5 wall cube. And the reason why that's good, so there's my wall cube. The reason why that's important is because now I've freed up a lot more motion here. So this can move here, this can move here, and now I can move these over here. So then I thought, okay, so far so good. Now can I do the same perspective that I did with the wall cube, with a 4x4 version? Looks so tiny compared to that, doesn't it? So it's like the first Death Star versus the Force Awakens Death Star, just so much bigger. So basically the way that I looked at this is, once I get it in this ready position, is I looked at this as two different types of puzzles. Here I looked at this as a 2x2x3, where these collectively were like 2x2s, and the reason why I did that is so that I can get these centers in. So here's my, this is the 3, we had a middle layer over here, and these represented the corners. And then to get these guys in, I'd simply hold it like this and turn this into a 3x3x2. So 1, 2, 3. Once these centers were in, they were bonded together. So 1, 2, 3. And I would get these areas here by just doing a cuboid strategy, domino strategy. So once again, over here, this is like a 2x2x3. Basically to get these centers in. And then I'd hold it like this and solve it like a 3x3x2. Now that these centers are in, they stayed put, and these were then moved around doing cuboid strategy, and that worked pretty well. So I figured, well, what's the analogy to this? So if this was my 2x2x3, that would be like holding it like this. So what would this be like? Well, one thing that jumps out is, can I look at it the same way? In terms of putting centers in, I guess I can look at these as 2x2 areas, but now I've got center pieces over here, 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 and here. So this is like a 3x3. Okay, so 3x3 by what? 3? 1, 2, 3? No, because it doesn't shape shift. So I guess I could look at this as a 3x3 by 4. But where the 4 part is the middle areas are bandaged together. So that's why I can't get any shape shifting. So this would be like a 3x3 by 4, where this is 1, 2, 3, 4, but the 2 and the 3 are bandaged together. So maybe I can do the same algorithms and then hold it once again like this, and instead of thinking of it as a 3x3 by 2, think of it as a, well, at this point I will have all of these guys in, and just to move these, this will be a 1, 2, 3. This will also be a 3x3 by 2 with this middle area that I just have to sort of deal with. I can't look at it as a 3x3 by 3 because once again it doesn't shapeshift. So it's a very skewed type perspective on a cuboid, and I wasn't sure if it was really going to work so good. There's one other algorithm that I had to see if it was going to work, just so that I can seize kind of control over a particular situation. It's more for the purposes of getting it scrambled. And what this algorithm did here, well, I'll just show it here as opposed to here. I already showed it with this in the previous tutorial with this. But what it did here is it moved this to here and this to here. It swapped these two. Then it took this edge and swapped it with this edge, where this color ended up here, which means this white would end up here, and this color would end up here. So these would be flipped with the colors flipped as well. So can I do the same thing? Well, no reason why I can't. Can I flip these two and these two? What that algorithm is, and it's a purely self-contained algorithm, I found no other puzzles to use it for except for this one, but I'm always on the alert in case I need to. And this is going to be U, 2R, 2L, U, 2F, 2B. Okay, so that's the first part of it. The second part is I start off with Ri and an Li, then I do a F, then a 2U, then a Fi, and finish the middle part up with a R and an L. And now I just undo the original moves that I did, the original first part of the algorithm, by doing a 2F and a 2B, then a UI, 2R, 2L, and then another UI. And lo and behold, that's what we did. So this white went up to here, and this blue went over to here, so that was flip-flopped. And this white one went over here with this white on the bottom, and this yellow one went over here with this on the top. So then I knew that I was kind of dealing with a similar kind of a concept. So with that said, I figured, well, aside from trying to deal with the center ones over here, maybe I can solve it a similar way. So I'm going to go ahead and continue the process of scrambling, and to try to enhance the scramble, I'm going to go over on this side here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and flip these two just to kind of enhance the challenge, and I'll bring this over to here. So once again, U, 2R, 2L, U, 2F, 2B, then RI, LI, F, 2U, Fi, R, L, 2B, 2F, 2B, UI, 2R, 2L, UI. Okay, it's just an algorithm I've been holding in my head for who knows why. So now I'm going to start the process of continuing to scramble this. I want to enhance the challenge as much as possible. So if I hold it like this, I've got my 2x2x3, my 3x3x4 motif. So I'm just going to start doing this. Doing scrambles like this. Cuboid scrambles, as it were. Maybe I'll move this over here. Turn this over here. So I'm trying to keep it nice and symmetric here. Over here. Once I've done that, now I'm going to say bring this over here and bring this over here. Now I can tease these guys out too. Once I start bandaging it, things are going to be kind of in association with each other. Maybe a little too much. Move this over here. So just want to make sure that I've enhanced the scramble here. just like that, okay. Go like this, go like that. Hi. Alright, so if I think I've got enough of a scramble with that, I'm going to transition to over here and start doing some of these scrambles. Now eventually, I'm going to need to do some shape-shifting scrambles. And the way that I'm going to do this, I'm going to kind of do it the way I do with the floppy. If I do turn 90 degrees here, it can't move. If I go 90 degrees here, it can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it like this, then I'm going to double turn like that, because now I still can do these moves over here. And you can see that I'm kind of causing massive confusion and destruction in this area here. But I'm not doing 90-degree turns like this, because once I do, then the real bandaging starts. I could do 90-degree turn like this. And then separate this out over here. Okay, now that I've done that, I can now hold it here and see if I can do something similar. Okay. So as I'm teasing this out, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to throw caution to the wind and just start doing 90-degree scrambles here. I figure, see, I'm already fairly bandaged here, and that is the infernal part of this, is just how lost you can get. So this is where you're throwing caution to the wind and you don't know where your life is going to take you. Will I ever get this back? Will I get this solved? I don't know. It almost reminds me of jumbling, in that I can make one turn but I can't move it out. But it actually isn't jumbling. It's not the same thing. It's bandaging. Bandaging is not the same as jumbling. Jumbling causes bandaging, but not all bandaging causes jumbling. It's a necessary but not sufficient criteria. Okay, so I'm moving this around here. Okay, so we're pretty locked up. I can't really do too much turning except for the terminal ends over here. Okay, so there you have it. A very formidable and scary looking scrambled 5x5 Burr Cube. So where do I start? Where do I even begin? How do I even tackle this? Well, just like with this puzzle here, the very first step that I did is I had to get all of the centers. Because if I'm going to do cuboid strategy, the centers have to be placed. So I need to put this in a position where I've taken out as much bandaging as possible. So see these centerpieces here? The first thing you're going to want to do is put all of these in a row. There's no set way of doing that. You just got to play with it. I've got no algorithms for you, but here's a couple strategies. I'm going to try to move these next to each other. So as many as I can move in as possible. So you can see there's 3 here. I put this in here, now I've got all of this over here. So can this move? Yeah, this can move. Now I've got these 2, I can move this in like so. So now I've got these. So what do I have left? I've got all of this. Now notice all I have to do is turn this 90 degrees. Now how can I do that? Well, what if I turn this over here? Oh, I'm bandaged. Not so lucky. So this is going to be a problem. So I'm going to turn that out of the way. But now it's preventing this from moving. Now I could just go like that, so this is in line, but this isn't in line over here. Maybe I'll turn this over here. Well, okay. So I'm making use of whatever can turn. Okay, so this allows this to turn. Maybe if I turn it this way, can I turn this? Nope. As long as this is here, that's a problem. So I'm just going to find ways to move this out and not bandage things like that. Nope, that's not going to work. Okay, maybe if I turn it this way. So again, as you can see, I'm just kind of playing with it right now. And I have to learn when to abandon it if it doesn't work. However, this can turn into here, so maybe this is what I should focus on. And now I can take this clump and move it by this clump. Splat. Okay, so I have almost all of these in. I have almost everything that resembles a center. But you can see this mess over here. So somewhere to the side is the other center pieces here, and that's this. So if I can just turn this like that, but coordinate it with this, now will I get lucky? This moves, so that's pretty good. I'm going to turn this over here. Aha! I got a little bit lucky. So now this is moved into this configuration. It's lined up here, and now I go splat, and there it is. So now you can see I've got all center pieces here, so I've completely freed this and this up, and much of these. So I'm a step closer to taking all the bandaging out. Now before I set this up in the way that I want to, the next thing that I have to do is I have to set this and this up in the proper way. Which means I have to make it look like it did when it was in the wall cube portion of it. So looking over here, you have these long edges and all of these corner pieces here. So this is going to be an edge piece. I need to get 2 edge pieces on either side of a center. So here's an edge piece over here, so I can just go like splat. Edge piece on either side of a center, I can move this into here. Edge piece on either side of a center here, so we're okay with that. So I've got this configuration. If that wasn't like that, if this was flipped, then what I can do at this point is I can do a cuboid style. So if it looked like this, so let's say it looked like this, I've got this set up over here. This is 180 degrees from the center. I'm not looking at these, I'm just looking at this. If I've got this over here, I could just do an edge swap, exactly like a cuboid. So to do an edge swap, 2RU, 2RU, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2RU, 2R, UI, 2R, and there it is. Okay, that's not too shabby, that's not too bad. But what about these corner pieces? Well, these corner pieces have to be lined up in the same direction as these edge pieces, as you can see like these are. These aren't, but it's one corner swap away from being lined up, because this will come here and be lined up, and this will come here and be on this side here to be lined up with this. So I'm just going to do a corner swap. 2RU, 2R, UI, 2R, UID, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R. Move this back, although it really doesn't matter, and bang. So that's exactly what we wanted. So I'm going to line this up over here. So this is all fine. This, none of these are lined up. So what I'm going to have to do is 2 corner swaps. Swap these 2 and these 2. 2RU, 2R, UI, 2R, turn, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R. Turn it back. Now same thing with this. 2RU, 2R, UI, 2R. 2RU, 2R, and bang. Well, actually, we'll keep this over here. So now we have it perfectly suited in wall position. So now all of these are freed up, and these are freed up as well. So this has now become a scrambled wall cube in the wall ready position. And all I have to do is look at it by way of cuboid style.